Hello, good evening, people. How's everybody doing this fine evening? I got this Brutalis Dreadnought going on. I'm trying to quickly share a post on Facebook, but it's not working. Hello, Mike. Hello, Phil. Phil, you're not actually at work for once. How are you, Phil? You keeping well? What's good? What are you building for Blood Angels at the moment? Michael, what's in the house? Matthew, hello, hello, hello. Yeah. Oh, I don't know why. Sometimes YouTube can be right funny. Apparently it's one of those nights where things are not working. Okay. Good evening, Tom. Good evening, Dylan. I'm going to be working on this Brutalis Dreadnought. I was working on it the other night. I figured it'd be a good idea to try and get it finished off. Yeah. That's the plan. Because I think the second one I'm gonna make with like custom parts, because I guess like the parts that you get. So this is the Brutalis Dreadnought from the Strike Force Augustus box. But you don't get a whole heap of options, I guess, with the one that's coming in the Blood Angels box. So I'm probably just gonna make this one kind of standard and maybe try and do something a little bit more exciting with the one that comes in the Blood Angels box. I guess we'll see. William, hello. How's my weekend? My weekend's been good, thanks. I was really excited today because I thought the football season had started again. So I got up, went to the gym for a couple hours, came home like super excited because I thought it was going to be like I was going to get to watch football of an afternoon. I mean, I guess that's the highlight of my Saturday, is like in the afternoon just chill out and watch football, and I got the dates wrong. The football's tomorrow, so I'll be excited for the football tomorrow, but yeah, I couldn't believe I got the dates wrong. Like I was all set up to watch football, and then I was like, oh my god, it's tomorrow. Oh, you idiot. So I've got tomorrow to look forward to some football. So there's I mean, it's the Scottish football season, so I can't imagine many people here care about the Scottish football season, but I care about it. So I'm excited to watch some, or as Americans you would say, soccer. So it's the start of the Scottish soccer season tomorrow. Well, there was a couple of games today, but my team wasn't playing, so my team plays tomorrow. Hello Oliver, good evening. Hello William. Did I say hello to you already, William? Are you looking forward to the new Blood Angels release? It sounds like Death Company was just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk about new Blood Angels releases, even after that initial box set. The general reaction to that box set probably hasn't been as positive as Games Workshop had hoped, because a lot of the older players like myself are somewhat upset. Hold on, let me turn this light up a tiny bit. Are somewhat upset that some of the customization and the cool heraldry from the Death Company seems to have been lost in the new box set. A Grain of Truth, how you doing? Good evening, good evening. Anyone, do you know what I started doing this week? Something that I've been meaning to do for the absolute longest time, like probably been meaning to do it for like 5 years, is I started reading the book Dune from 1964, I believe the original book. The original Dune was written. So I'm on like I just think I'm ready to start chapter 4. So I've been meaning to read Dune for the longest time. I've loved both the two new movies that they put out. I actually kind of liked the mini series from like the 2000s as well, with I think it was James McAvoy. But yeah, so I've started reading Dune, which is actually kind of a little bit hard to read, right? Because it was written in 1964 and language is a lot more. I don't know what the word is. It's like it's still English, obviously, but it's like a different type of like stuff written that long ago. 60 years ago, Dune was written, which is pretty crazy. Language is like it's hard to like I feel like flamboyant is the right word. Like they use a lot of nouns and pronouns and stuff that we don't even use these days. Like words that you've never even heard of. Like you've got to Google what this word even means. Language was just different, I guess, 60 years ago. Hello, Exo. Hello, Dunks. How you doing? Thoughts on the upgrade sprue specifically, says Dunks. I don't think it's got enough for my liking. I think that new upgrade sprue, if I'm correct, is probably going to cost like $25. Considering you're going to buy a Firstborn set of Death Company at the moment for like $28, I believe, it might be better off if you're one, like, if money was no object to me right now, I'd probably buy a couple of sets of Firstborn Death Company, just to have all the unique Death Company helmets and the unique Death Company shoulder pads for my Primaris Death Company, because I feel like the new sprue that we're getting in that new box, I feel is a little bit lacking. Did you start with the prequels? No, I'm just starting with the original, the first book written, Dune. I don't want to dive too much into prequels. I'll read them in like chronological order. I suppose it's the same as like when you start Star Wars, right? You usually, like I got my kid to watch Star Wars, and the older of my two kids. We didn't start on episode 1, we started on episode 4, right? So yeah, I'll start with the first book and take it from there. If I really like it, I might grab one of the other books, but we'll see. Good evening, James. Zacharias has been reading the prequels. Okay, cool. Flowery? Yeah, flowery might be the right word for the language. Yeah, it's hard. Some of it's quite hard to understand what the author even means, just because I guess 60 years ago language was quite different. It was quite more, it was like more flavorful language, maybe. Hard to put my I'm really bad at English anyway, right? You guys probably know that I'm like terrible at English, so yeah. I suppose it's been a long time since I read Lord of the Rings, but I think Lord of the Rings was written just after World War II. And I think Lord of the Rings can be quite difficult to read as well. Maybe similar, right? Good evening, Trivial Pursuit. A Grain of Truth is more excited about the new transfer sheet. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to get a transfer sheet because we don't get those very often at all anymore, right? Do Firstborn jump packs fit on Primaris? Was thinking about trying to spruce up the new models. They fit fine, David. A few people have done them. I mean, if you really look closely, you might notice that they seem like they're a tiny bit small, but I think for the most part, nobody will really care and or notice. I mean, I think if you broke it down, I would probably rather have a Death Company flavoured Firstborn jump pack than a generic Primaris jump pack, right? Like, if I had the choice, I'd probably be quite happy with the Death Company ones, because the Death Company ones are just cool, man. They got like red crosses on them and blood drops and stuff like that. They were cool jump packs. Feels very sad to be losing that, I guess. Are you going to show all the Star Wars or admit the last 3? We've actually started watching episode 7, William, so I guess we're watching them all. Do you think the Captain with the jump pack and the new Eviscerator from that upgrade sprue could be used to kitbash a good Gabriel Seth model? Or do you think Seth crosses the Rubicon, says US? USD nobody. That's a good question. I mean, the Eviscerator could be used, like, I guess up until now we haven't had a Primaris Eviscerator, right? So you make a good point. Maybe some people that were, like Flesh Tearers players hadn't considered that, actually. That, like, yes, you will actually be able to make a bit of a you'll be able to make a bit of a Flesh Tearers or you'll be able to make a bit of a Gabriel Seth, I guess. Yeah, I guess nobody had really thought about that, because we don't have an Eviscerator that's scaled correctly for a Primaris Marine. So yeah, I mean, if you're buying that new set and you're getting the 4 upgrade sprues, because apparently that's when it's in the new set, it's apparently supposed to be 4 upgrade sprues. So I feel like if you're getting 4 upgrade sprues, you could definitely try your hand at converting Sorry, I'm completely blanking on where this other foot is. This is the parts for one foot. Where the hell is the parts for the other foot? Haven't lost a sprue, have I? I think I'm being blind. It's only 9 o'clock, it shouldn't be this time. Ah, the other foot's a single part. Oh, okay. It's like, the whole foot is just a single bit. Okay. I was looking for lots of individual bits, weird. It was written in 1954, yeah, so 10 years before Dune then. Yeah, it's been a long time since I think I read Lord of the Rings when I was like 12 or 13, man. I've never gone back and read it again. It was one of the first, like, I guess it was probably the first fantasy book like that I ever read, like with dwarves and goblins and wizards and all that. And then after I read Lord of the Rings, I actually had like a phase where I read like a lot of D&D books. Like I want to say I read like 30 D&D books, and I really enjoyed D&D, and I played D&D a lot actually when I was like at school, you know, like when I was 15 through like, I don't know, 14, 15, 16 sort of ages at school, maybe a little bit older as well. I played a lot of D&D, and I enjoyed D&D a lot. And I guess if you played D&D in the early 90s, then you were very uncool. So that was me, I was super uncool. Whereas like D&D is super popular now, it's pretty crazy. What do you think of the tactical warsuit? I don't like the tactical warsuit, man. I don't think it's got enough toughness to make it viable. And I don't actually think it's got any good guns. And yes, I mean, it does have like a high strength fist, but I don't think it's got much reliability in the fist. It's only like 5 attacks or something. And it's a lot of points. I really don't rate tactical warsuits this edition. I've never used one this edition, but I've had no sort of inclination to use one. I did use one a couple of times last edition, but this edition, tactical warsuits, they just haven't... I don't know how you say it. They just haven't really sat with me as like a potential option. Like I haven't felt like tactical warsuits are strong. I just haven't felt it, I guess. So I'm going to try and lean this guy forward a little bit, because I think last time I didn't get these legs on quite right. So he's going to be... his legs are... The plan is to lean his legs forward a little bit. Otherwise, he's going to be like... I was going to say, if we stick this on like that, he will be leaning back way too much. I feel like... Yeah, like, I think that's going to have him leaning back, like, way too much. I think I'm going to have to cut this bit here again. So I've got options to attach him more with, like, more verticality, I guess. Okay. Daniel, happy Saturday night. How you doing, Daniel? It was wrote between 1937 and 1949. Oh yeah, I mean, I think he wrote some of the chapters. There was a movie about it recently, right? I think he wrote some of the chapters of Lord of the Rings, like, during World War II. Maybe when he was, like, stuck in the trenches and stuff, and... I used to use them when they'd infiltrate. Yeah, I thought that's when I thought they would be strong, when they'd infiltrate. Good evening, Chase McLeod. How you doing? Miguel, what's happening? Are you going to run that bad boy as a Brutalis or a Death Company Dreadnought? I imagine I'm going to run it as whatever I deem is going to be the most useful for my army list, right? It could be a Death Company Dreadnought. It could equally be a... It could equally be a Brutalis. I already ran a Brutalis one time. Like, I just used one of my Redemptors and proxied it as a Brutalis. But I can't really... I can't really tell what he's going to be run as until the rules come out. I guess for the moment I'm just making him. Greetings, Island Phoenix. Good evening, Mark Jackson. I am looking forward to the new Death Company box. What do you think? I think it will be okay. I think I would have liked more customization in the Death Company Marines. I think everybody would have liked more customization in the Death Company Marines, right? Like, they don't have nearly enough Death Company, like, chest plates, Death Company shoulder pads, Death Company helmets. Like, the two characters are cool. The idea of getting a new box is cool. The idea of upgrading our Dreadnought, I guess, is cool. But no Death Company bits, not cool. And yeah, I mean, we will probably lose a lot of weapon options, right? Highland Phoenix is right. There will be probably a mass exodus of Blood Angel weapon options for Death Company. So I guess if you're somebody that likes a lot of different weapon options in a squad, or you like that squad with all power fists and stuff, I guess prepare to be a little bit disappointed, because that's probably going to be the reality of the situation, is less weapon options for Death Company. But I mean, there's a big opportunity for Games Workshop, right? Because like Astrath is kind of rubbish in 10th edition, so they could do something to make Astrath competitive, which might, and they could do, and maybe they can do something to make Primaris Death Company competitive. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I'm gonna buy the new box because I'm sure I will use all the models eventually. Apparently as well, see, if you don't buy the new box, you might have to wait like as long as when they do release those limited edition boxes, or those refresh boxes, whatever you want to call them. If you don't buy them, you usually have to wait a little while, like 2 to 4 weeks sometimes, before you can get your hands on the normal Codex. So like, I don't really have a choice, right? For the channel, I'm not going to wait around for like a month when all you guys would have bought the box and I didn't buy it, so I don't even have the Codex. Like, that's not really an option for me, I guess. So I'm going to buy the new box. I'm sure I will find ways to use 10 more Assault Intercessors or 10 more Jump Pack Intercessors. And my thought is, honestly, I'm probably going to get some third-party bits, because I'm not really willing to make them look identical. Like, I think it's not boring for them to look identical to Assault Marines, but I guess it's it just doesn't sit right with me. Like, a squad of Death Company should be considerably different to a squad of Assault Marines, I feel like. They should have some different identity in terms of the pieces that you can put on the models, or they should have different weapon options, or I don't know. But I feel like I'm probably going to end up getting some third-party stuff, because I don't want my Death Company to look identical to my Assault Marines, and my Assault Marines to have no weapon options, or sorry, my Death Company to have like no unique heraldry options or stuff like that. And 4 to 6 months before the new figures come out. I don't think it'll be as long as that. I think that probably when they put the big box on sale, because it's a good question, actually. In the Dark, was there any... Some of you guys obviously follow Dark Angels and Space Wolves way more than I do. Was there any characters inside the Dark Angels box that weren't available as individual sprues at the same time as it launched? Eternal Crusader saying 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah, that's what I thought it might be for the Codex. I thought it might be like a few weeks, maybe not as many as 4, but I definitely thought it would be a few. Highland Phoenix says it's Monopose Blood Angels going forward. I kind of hate the Monopose stuff, man, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I guess it's quick. Like, that's the only advantage of it, it's quick. But, I mean, most of us are in this hobby long term, right? Like, I suppose that's the great thing about making a YouTube channel about, like, Warhammer. It's not like a video game. It's not like people play it for 6 months and then quit. You're kind of in Warhammer forever once you're in there, right? So quick doesn't really appeal to veteran players. It appeals to new players, because like new players want to come in and get on the tabletop quick, but us veterans don't really care about quick. There was one new character. It was Belial, and was he available in an individual box? Eternal Crusader, or did you have to wait? For the Foot Death Company, the new box, they should have had Primaris Corbulo rather than Martis. Well, I mean, I guess we can all give our opinion on what character should... I mean, I think Sanguinius should come back. But hey, we're all allowed our opinion on what mad stuff we would like to see in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, I guess. Have I got a box already? No. Games Workshop don't... I don't have any deal with Games Workshop for preview copies or anything like that, Oliver, so no. No, sorry, Operation Radish? No, I don't get preview copies of anything, I guess. So I'll get the box on the same day as all you guys. And I'll be in the queue pre-ordering it the same as all you guys, I guess. No more 10 Power Fists and Infernal Pistols, but we already knew that would happen. Yeah, I think you're right, Red Rum. I think the thing that we're more upset about, though, is... like, we kind of knew that was going to happen. Like, anyone that didn't think that we were going to remove all the weapon options was probably living in a bit of denial. But what is more upsetting is the I guess, like, the lack of individuality on the sprues, right? It's just like, you know, for all intents and purposes, this is just two more... It is the Assault Intercessor box, and it is the Jump Assault Intercessor box, which we already have. I mean... Find me a Blood Angels player that doesn't have, like, at least 10 Assault Intercessors and at least 10 Jump Assault Intercessors. I think you're going to be pretty hard to find that because everybody's already got that. So, I think that's the thing that people are more disappointed about, is, like, if you think that the box is 23 models, 20 of them you already have. In my case, because I already got this Brutalis here from Strikeforce Augustus, I guess 21 of the 23 models I already have, right? I think that's the more disappointing thing necessarily than losing all your Power Fists, because we kind of knew that was going to happen. I'm not going to blink stuff out via upgrades in 3D. I don't know what you mean, Todd. You're going to blink stuff out? What do you mean? Sorry. Phil's not looking... I'm not going to remodel any of my Death Company, Phil. There's literally no point in remodeling them, because here's the thing: if you remodel them, let's say these new Death Company do really badly. For example, like their rules stink. Let's just say worst case scenario. Like, Death Company are a useless unit that nobody uses anymore after this update, right? Because that could happen, right? If Death Company are all just running around with like 4 chainswords and an Eviscerator, they're really not going to be that exciting. And if their points costs don't, like, if that's what they can do now, and the points costs don't drastically swap, then they'll be rubbish, right? So then they might come back to, oh well, Death Company probably should have some Power Fists, because without some Power Fists, they're kind of a bit rubbish. So, like, if you go ahead and rip 30 arms off all your Death Company, only for, like... If you look at, like, last 3 editions, Phil, in 8th edition, the way to run Death Company was, you wanted to have Death Company with chainswords and bolters. Then I think halfway through 8th edition, or maybe at the start of 9th edition, you couldn't do bolters anymore. So, like, some people ripped all the... Like, some people had 20 Death Company all modelled with chainsword and bolters, and a bunch of people ripped those bolters off because you weren't allowed bolters anymore and replaced them with bolt pistols. Right, people did that. And then it changed again. It was like, oh right, Thunderhammers are best. So everybody started making all the Death Company with just Thunderhammers. And then it changed again, so it was like, oh, Death Company should probably have... You should probably have some Death Company with Infernal Pistols and Power Swords, because I think the Infernal Pistols and Power Swords were like cheap or something, or maybe didn't have an extra points cost or something. Can't remember exactly what it was, but there was definitely a reason to have Infernal Pistols and Power Swords, because I made like 10 of them with those. And then after that, it was like, oh, in the new edition, now it's Infernal Pistols and Power Fists. So now it's going to change to Chainswords for probably a hot minute. And then when 11th edition comes out, if no one's buying Death Company anymore and everybody thinks they're garbage, then it'll change again. So I think with the removal of points costs on units, or the points costs on war gear, I think that has killed Wizzywig. I think Wizzywig is irrelevant if everybody can just pick the best weapon options for the same points cost. Like, what's... Like, I'm just not bothering with Wizzywig, I guess. I think it's irrelevant now, personally. I'll get the box, then wait for Grey Tide so I can make all the Blood Angels heresy. Yeah, I'm gonna be making a video about the Grey Tide parts, because I think they come out in August or September, so I'm going to do a video on that. Grey Tide was in the stream the other night, Grey Tide Studios. So they're like a company that makes third-party pieces, and they're making they're doing like it's basically a bit like a Kickstarter for Blood Angel stuff. So I'm probably going to use some Grey Tide Studios. Yeah, I'm probably going to use some of their parts. Mullen, good evening. In that sense, maybe it's a good thing that we do go to box locked unit outfits, so we don't have to change the loadout every battle slate. Yeah, I mean that's the main thing, Mullen, right? Like it is ridiculous to have to try and change unit loadouts every battle slate. I think I tried to keep up with it for like a little while. Like I definitely ripped arms off Death Company. I definitely ripped arms off Vanguard Veterans. I actually, you remember the unit, the Company Veterans? Which were like a unit that don't even exist anymore, but they were a good unit because you could take them in units of 2s, so they kind of filled like a small, like a niche in the army balance when you only had a few points left. You could have like a unit of 2 Company Veterans, and they could have Storm Shields, and they could have Lightning Claws. So I was magnetizing all that stuff, and then at some point you just have to give up because you can't keep up, and you can't. It's like every edition of the game is going to change every single weapon option. What are you going to do? You're going to pull every single weapon option off every single model, short of magnetizing every single model in your army. I don't think there's really an option anymore to try and keep up with Wizzywig. Jim said he kept all the bolters on his Death Company. I did too, Jim. If anyone asks, I was just like, they're bolt pistols and chainswords, because all my Death Company that were like my first batch of Death Company, like I think I had 20 of them with bolt pistols and chainswords. Eileen Phoenix says, sorry for being so negative this week. You just underwhelmed and disappointed. Dude, it's all good. I get it. I am probably myself a bit underwhelmed. In my video I made, I was a bit disappointed. I mean, I said as much that I didn't like all the removals of the Death Company heraldry, but I try not to let too much negativity bleed into the channel, even if I'm feeling a bit negative about things. So, no, if you're negative, it's fine. Give me your opinion. I like hearing your opinion, even if you're negative. But we'll try not to dwell too much on negativity. We've got a new box set. We can be excited about the box set. Let's face it, a lot of us are still going to buy it. If Games Workshop aren't going to let us, if they aren't going to sell us, because, if they aren't going to sell us an upgrade sprue, then I guess we can shop around for upgrades. I've done it before. I did it before Primaris even came out, right? Because I used to want to do Storm Shields on, like, what did I had, like, I think it was 30 Vanguard Veterans I was trying to do. And I remember looking on eBay and it was about £5 per Storm Shield. And I was like, I'm not going to spend, because each person that's selling a Storm Shield on eBay wanted like $2.50 for each Storm Shield and like $2.50 or £2 delivery, and I was like, I'm not going to spend £150 on Storm Shields. So if I'm not going to spend £150 on Storm Shields, how am I going to get Storm Shields for everybody? Well, the way I did it was I went onto Cromlech, which is an EU website, and they sell pieces that kind of fit with the scale of 40k, and they have a shield that had like a wreath on it and a skull. Yeah, it was a wreath and a skull. So I just went like, alright, fine, I will just buy like 30 of these Cromlech shields for about £30, so basically £120 cheaper than what was on eBay. And I mean, you could have bought Storm Shields at that point from Games Workshop, but you could have probably only got them inside the Vanguard Veteran Kit, and you only get, I think it was 4 inside the Vanguard Veteran Kit. Maybe it was 5, but I kind of feel like it's only 4 Storm Shields in the Vanguard Veteran Kit. So what I was either gonna have to spend like £150 to get it from Games Workshop, £150 to get it from eBay, or £30 to get it from like a third-party site. Well, I was going to say, in a world where I'm the only income in my household, yeah, I'm going to spend the 30 quid. My opinion is that I'm going to be playing Blood Angels anyway. I might as well give it a chance before getting too upset. Here's the thing, though. Everything is changing all the time in 40k. Like, I know a bunch of people were upset with 10th edition and didn't really give it much chance. That was a thing that happened at the start of 10th edition. A lot of people were upset that like a lot of the models got legends, a lot of the units got changed and stuff, but like, having played 10th edition now for what, 18, not quite 18 months, just over a year, like say 15, 16 months, it is a good edition. It is pretty fun. It is reasonably balanced. Yeah, it's not perfect, and I guess but I mean, models are going to go into Legends, and there's nothing you can do about it. We can complain about it all we want, but it's probably not going to change very much. So I think embracing the future is like, if you don't embrace the future, like I said, I try not to get hung up on the negative stuff. If you don't embrace the future, you are just going to be hung up on the negative stuff. And like I did, I don't know, for like 6 months after the new edition came out, I was upset that all my models went into Legends, and like, you know, I lost thousands of points worth of models to Legends, and it was like, well, I could still be upset about that, or I could just kind of stop being upset about that and just move on, and I guess that's your only choice, right? Like, essentially you're just wasting your energy, I guess, being upset about it. I know it sucks, but like, there's literally nothing you can do to change it. So I guess it's the same with the Death Company losing their Power Fists and stuff. That's why I'm more upset about the Heraldry, right? Because it's like, the Heraldry could have stayed, because it doesn't affect any of the game balance stuff. We could have definitely still had cool Heraldry. So you get an extra little piece of leg armor here, interesting, on the Brutalis. So this is a piece of like leg armor that the Redemptor Dreadnought doesn't get. You get one for each side. They kind of just like, I guess just the idea is it's a melee Dreadnought, so it's got a little bit more, leg armor, I guess. Okay. Evening Cry, check how you're doing. 5 Storm Shields and a Blood Angels Terminator kit. Lots of good bits in there too. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if those Storm Shields in the Terminator kit are easy enough to put onto regular models, though, rather than Terminators, right? Are they not? Yeah, maybe they are, but maybe they'd be a bit big for regular words. Our cries will fall death upon James Workshop's death fears. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can cry all we want. It's not going to change anything. They were always going to lose the fists. Almost no other unit does their kind of damage. Yeah, I mean, we kind of knew that. But I think the thing that I was upset about was like, there isn't a single Death Company specific shoulder pad. Options will be removed until morale improves. I'm not sure what you mean until morale improves, but I think Primaris options are being removed with Primaris Marines to try and make the game more balanced. How do you enjoy more, brand new models or restoring and repainting used models? I mean, I think I've restored and repainted 1 billion used models, so probably I do quite like getting the new characters in Primaris.
I have awoken.
Hey Carol, thanks so much for subscribing, I appreciate it. Oh, beatings will continue till morale improves. I get you. I get you. Okay, yeah, I get you. It's kind of, it is what it is. We'll get the new box. We'll find ways of making the new box work. I'm sure we'll get some awesome third-party shoulder pads we can use. If you don't have any spare Death Company shoulder pads kicking around, it might be not a bad idea to buy one last box of the Firstborn set. Considering how much that new upgrade sprue is going to cost, it's probably going to be reasonably well valued to just buy a set of Firstborn Death Company. I saw some people yesterday, like, people are starting to buy up those Firstborn Death Company. You remember when Blood Angels tactical squads got discontinued and they started to become insane in price? That's starting to happen for I think that's going to start to happen for Firstborn Death Company. Like, they will get to a point where they are just insane in price. Like, because the if you find a Blood Angels tactical squad now, you probably wouldn't get it for less than $100. And I mean, a Blood Angels tactical squad cost what, like 25 or something? Alright, how do these little 54s go on? There's more of a charm to restoring models, as if you've given them a second chance or breathing new life into them. Yeah, maybe. I like converting models probably the most, though. So even like even for example Commander Dante, like the new Dante, I put a set of wings on him, and I also put like a dead Bloodthirster's head on his base to try and make it seem like he'd just finished killing a Bloodthirster of Khorne. So yeah, I guess I'm a bit of a converter more than a restorer or a new. These little caps really don't feel like they fit very well onto the legs here. Huh. Has anyone put these little caps on this little bit at the bottom here? Has anyone done this? Has anyone built a Brutalis? I know Brutalis. I know not many people bought the Strike Force Augustus. I know the Brutalis came out later, but it definitely feels like they don't fit on there all that well. They have a notch on them. Yeah, I'm looking at the notch. Where's the notch supposed to go? Is it supposed to go facing up the way? My local friendly store sold out. How did it sell out already? Like, they're taking orders already for the Blood Angels box? What do you hope will be announced? I think we know what's going to be announced. It's going to be the Sanguinary. It's going to be Sanguinary Guard, right, Tom? I think we know that. It's the ankle, the wee round bit. I'm being dumb, unless it's that way. Oh, these bits are too fiddly, man. Check instructions, you can see it there. I mean, the instructions kind of look like they're facing up the way. Can't even get it to stay on. No. C63, yeah, that's what I'm looking at. C63. I'm not seeing why it doesn't fit. Oh, I think that's it. I'm just going to glue it and I'm going to push it on as hard as it'll go and it'll be fine. Let's see. Thank you. I don't know what I'd do without you guys. I appreciate it. I think I was close to it. I might have just had the wrong one on the wrong side. So I'm just gonna hit it. No. The other one went on okay. That's you, glue it on, yeah. Just fire the glue in. Good enough's close enough. Can't tell if that... I don't think that one... I think it's just this one side is being pain. The other side went on okay. Ugh. I'm gonna butcher this thing and have it looking like it's been through the war. I need to be putting some paint on my Seth model, says William. Why? We don't even know if he's in the new Codex, man. I mean, I guess at least the Brutalis will be in the new Codex, or... Yeah, this one does not want to fit on flushly at all. Alright, I'm just gonna... Yeah. That's a disaster. Oh, well, I mean, there's glue on there. We could hammer it on, right? What wings did you put on Dante? I put on a set from the Sanguinary. And they were pretty nicely sized, I felt like. I made a video on it, I think. My site should be a Commander Dante. Dante. Yeah, I did a kit bash on Dante. Let me show you the video. I mean, it wasn't that much of a kit bash. I just put the... I put a Bloodthirster head on his base. Because obviously, like, in the... I think in Devastation... No, not... Yeah, in Devastation of Baal. No, not Devastation of Baal. Which... Did Dante not fight a Bloodthirster in one of those books? In Devastation of Baal, it would have been a Tyrannid that he killed. I can't remember. I thought Dante fought Kabanda at some point. No, I'm getting confused. I think... Am I? I'm sure there was a book or a story that had Dante killing a Bloodthirster. So I put a decapitated head of a Bloodthirster onto Dante's base. I thought that was thematic. I thought that I did that right, but maybe I did it wrong. I thought it was right. Alright, so I think the next thing I'm supposed to do is put this thing to the side and work on the arms. What's my favourite Black Library book? I mean, I prefer the Blood Angels ones for sure, right? I did really like the Dante book. I did really like the Astrath one. I mean, a lot of people thought Devastation of Baal is very good. Darkness and the Blood is very good. There was a story where he fought Kabanda. Thank you, Krychek. Yeah, I thought he killed a Bloodthirster. I thought it might have even been the named Bloodthirster Kabanda, so that's why I put a Bloodthirster head on his base. I actually got because Colin was doing Chaos Demons, so I said to him, like, is there any Chaos Demon parts that you don't use? And he actually gave me the head. He actually gave me a head of a Bloodthirster. And he gave me the head of a Keeper of Secrets. No, not the Keeper of Secrets, sorry, the Lord of Change. So, I had the head of a Lord of Change. I actually put the Lord of Change onto... What did I put the Lord of Change onto? I think I put the Lord of Change onto a Ballistus Dreadnought space. And I put the head of the Bloodthirster on Dante's base. I tried to see if I had room to put the head of both, like the head of a Bloodthirster and the head of a Keeper of Secret, Lord of Change onto Dante's base, but honestly it felt a bit busy. It felt like I was trying to put too much stuff onto the base, which was probably fair. Plus it would have been, it's a bit of a big ask to just be like this random Primaris Marine Dante. He just got done killing a Bloodthirster and a Lord of Change. What would be reaction if the new Sanguinary Guard or another upgrade kit? I mean, I guess it wouldn't be quite as bad, right? Because Sanguinary Guard don't have the same flexibility of weapon options that the Death Company had, so it shouldn't be as bad in terms of a gameplay kit. But who knows? Only angels may fly. A lot of people are saying it's a 30k book, is it? Fear to Tread. I must admit, I haven't read as many 30k books as I would like. I started reading The Siege of Terra. I got into book 2 and kind of got stalled a little bit. I found book 1 really hard to read. Sean says it's such a downgrade this refresh has been so far. Well, it's more a generic... I don't know what you call it. It's more a generification than a downgrade, right? Like, I mean, that's what Primaris Marines were anyway. Like, you lost a lot of the individual chapterness, or the individual chapter identity for Primaris Marines. And I guess this is the next step of that. Might help with game balance, but it's probably not going to help with overall, like players don't like it as much. The old guard don't like it. The thing is, like, see, if you go look at Reddit, everybody that's a new player is really excited about the new box. And there was even a post on Reddit, like I read it the other day, with like 100 replies. Where it was like, I'm a new player to Blood Angels, or I'm a new player to Warhammer 40k, and I'm super excited about this box. And they couldn't really understand why a lot of the old people were not excited about it, right? Yeah, it's a tough one. Guys, if you got 2 seconds tonight, we've got 58 people watching, 62 people watching now actually, and we only got 25 likes on the stream. So if you get 2 seconds, I could appreciate it if you would put a like on the stream. I'd appreciate that. Are we going to get Death Company Intercessors on foot and Death Company Assault Intercessors on foot in the new release? We're going to get 2 Death Company data sheets, I think. One will be Death Company Intercessors, and one will be Death Company Intercessors with jump packs. I think Death Company Marines are gone. Or I think... I guess for they might actually change. They might just, do you know what? They might just call them Death Company Marines and Death Company Marines with jump packs. But what they will be are basically the Intercessor variant, right? Phil, thank you so much for gifted memberships.
I have awoken.
You have been so generous of late, dude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And anyone that got gifted membership, please come over to our well, you should be in our Discord anyway. If you just received a gifted membership, you can say thanks to Phil, and you can come join us in the members only room on Discord. Which obviously anyone that uses Patreon or anyone that supports via gifted membership. I was going to say, ZZ slip away, you're like a minute away from getting here and getting a gifted membership. So, you snooze, you lose, buddy. No, I'm joking. Hello, good evening, slip away. New month, new members. Thanks, Phil, dude. You rock, man. I really do appreciate it.
I have awoken.
Phil put a picture in the Discord as well of, he bought one of the new Blood Angels Commander t-shirts. So, huge thank you, Phil. Big channel support right there. Appreciate it.
I have awoken.
I am not who's gonna skull? I'll get third party shoulder pads, helmets. I'm not gonna build 20 more I'm not gonna build 20 more assault intercessors and jump assault intercessors without them having a lot more customization on them, because I already got jump assault intercessors and already got assault intercessors. And if I'd wanted to just paint them black and give them no customization, I could have done that already. So, if I'm going to be doing 20 more assault intercessors or jump intercessors, I'm going to find myself a lot of different pieces. In Devastation Baal, all the Death Company were lost to Tyrannids. That's why Seth of the Flesh Tearers was so put out about Primaris reinforcements, because he thought they'd all not have the rage. Yeah, that's one thing that somebody said. They were like, we lost all of our Death Company, so we'd have to replace them with essentially Primaris Death Company. That's why they've lost a lot of their upgrades and their unique armor pieces and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, fine. I mean, I guess if that's the excuse that they want to give, I guess it's an okay excuse, but like, I guess because we've been able to build these cool Death Company for years, we now don't really want to build generic Death Company. So Sin Phil, hello. I paused at 1.5k and the box is perfect to fill out my army. Just wish the upgrade sprue was better. Yeah, and so does everyone. That's why I was saying, like, some people are now buying the Firstborn Death Company sprue before it disappears. Because it's £28 and you get 10 Death Company shoulder pads, you get like 6 helmets. Do you know what? The Infernal Pistols and Plasma Pistols and stuff you get in that Firstborn Death Company set really don't feel too... I think it would be really hard push to tell that someone has a Firstborn pistol. And not like a Primaris version of the pistol. The only real telltale sign is they've got a slightly smaller hand, but like, how often are you investigating that they're like, do you ever pick up an intercessor on the tabletop and go, oh, look at this intercessor's hands, 20% smaller than a normal intercessor's hand, he must be a Firstborn, you know? Like, it just doesn't happen, I feel like. So, like, at any sort of distance, like the distance from like where you are to the table, you're not going to notice that he's got a Firstborn pistol or something like that. So yeah. I was gonna say, if anyone has Firstborn Death Company sprues or jump packs or shoulders that they don't want, you know, I will happily take them off your hands, because I think that they're super cool, and I would, if you don't have any, I honestly don't think it's a bad investment just to buy a box of Firstborn Death Company to give yourself options down the line. And even if you bought it and decided 6 months later you don't actually need it, you could probably flip it on eBay for twice as much. Because, like I said, Blood Angels Tactical Squads Well, it was just a tactical squad, so it probably sold for like $30. If you have one of those now, if you put that on eBay for £100, you would probably sell it within minutes. You'd probably maybe even get like 150, because the Blood Angels tactical squad has been discontinued now for like 5 years, maybe longer. Like, I can't remember how long ago the anyone in chat tell me how long ago the Blood Angels tactical squad was discontinued, but it's friggin' ages. But like, occasionally what happens is somebody on Reddit finds a couple of them in the back of a cupboard or something, and it'll be like, hey, I've got 2 Blood Angels tactical squads, and straight away, like, someone posts that on Reddit, within like a minute someone's like, I'll give you $100 for it, right? Like, NPF6 says that Death Company Firstborn box was insanely good value of bits. I had 2 and they added so much to all my Firstborn Marines back in the day. And they'll still add loads to your Primaris Marines. The helmets are all viable with Primaris Marines. The shoulder pads are all viable with Primaris Marines. There's plenty of other bits in that box that are viable. Like I said, it's really hard to tell with some of those weapon options. You get 4 upgrade sprues in that new set, says Ed. Yeah, but but there's no Death Company stuff on the upgrade sprues. Great. You know, here's a Death Company box with no Death Company stuff on the upgrade sprues. So I think it's good that they give you 4 upgrade sprues, but you don't get any Death Company shoulder pads. The Sanguinary Guard upgrade sprue has a good number of bits on it as well. Yeah, it does. It does, and it's got a good number of heads on it, and I don't know what's happening with Sanguinary Guard wings. I guess nobody does. There's a rumour that Sanguinary Guard are losing their wings. So again, you could easily buy a box of Sanguinary Guard now, and if you decide you don't need them, you could probably definitely sell them at a profit, and if you do open up the box, you'll be able to add a bunch of customization to existing models and stuff. I think they have moved the transfers to the Death Company shoulder pads. Yeah, but I don't know. I think the shoulder pads that used to have the red crosses in them and stuff that you could just paint, I think they were always more vibrant than the shoulder pads. Sorry, than the transfers, in my opinion. So on Thursday this week, I'm going to be playing Garen, which is going to be a rematch of our of the GT final, actually. So normally we do the live battle on normally do the live battle on a Wednesday. This week the live battle is going to be on a Thursday because we've got a rematch of the GT final. So it'll be Bully Boy Orcs against Blood Angels. I think it should be a cool game, hopefully. And it'll probably be a very close game because the final game at the GT was literally... Well, it was a draw. I was going to say it was separated by a point before we realised that we'd scored it wrong and it was a draw. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to basically play for... Okay. So these are arms. And how do they attach to the body? So this bit goes on. And then that bit goes in there. And then I need some casings. Okay. Alright, let's put some glue on these bits. Phil doesn't work Thursday. Oh, cool. So you can be in the live chat for Thursday. Is this Red Alert music? Do you know what? It sounds like the Red Alert music, but no, it is royalty-free music. All my music is royalty-free. If I could play non-royalty-free music, Sean would probably be listening to some sort of heavy metal. Because heavy metal is my jam for the most part. Do you know what? These days I'm probably more into like heavy rock, hard rock. But yeah, metal, rock. That's sort of my that's sort of where I'm at. But yeah, no, I know the old Red Alert music. It's very cool, the old Red Alert music, isn't it? So these, I was going to say, does this need to go around a specific way? Yes, probably. So it should go like that. Red Alert was a great game though, man. I can't believe, do I know the band Tool? Yes. Do I actually know that many songs by Tool though, right? They got a couple of really popular songs. I don't think I've ever actually owned a Tool album though. That's one thing that I think we miss these days, right? You don't know Christian rock if you haven't tried it. I know Pod, they're Christian rock, are they not? Or POD, is that how you're supposed to say it? There's one thing that I think has been lost. Oh, hold on, I just dropped a bit of his arm. Where the frick did that go? You don't get albums, heavy rock like Nickelback. Nickelback are okay, probably not my favourite. Heavy rock would be more like Avenged Sevenfold, maybe? Quite like them. I like Five Finger Death Punch. What other albums have I listened to recently? I still listen to a lot of old stuff. Like, I liked Stained before they, So still, I was listening to Stained the other day, actually, but like I was listening to Stained's first album, which is like 1999 or something. You take away... Do you know what I was listening to this morning, actually? When I was working out? All That Remains, I have heard of All That Remains, actually. When I was working out this morning, I was listening to War Pigs by Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath, maybe they're metal? Or maybe they're heavy rock, I don't know. Would you say Black Sabbath are metal? Hello, Mr. Bollock 91, how you doing? Heavier the better, says it's Slip Away. The heaviest I listen to is probably Trivium. But I haven't listened to Trivium for a few years. I did like their Silence in the Snow album, though. Yeah, I was going to say, that's one thing that I think we miss these days in music, is we don't listen to albums anymore. Like back in the day, you used to get an album, you were excited that you got the album, you would sit down, you'd listen to the album from start to finish. It's much harder to do that now, I feel like. Or I feel like people don't, maybe people still do it. I feel like it, with like everything being available and streaming and stuff like that. Sabbath are considered the first metal, along with Zeppelin. Black Sabbath started it all in their metal. Alright, I'll take your word for it. I hope I've stuck these on the right way. I'm trying to see if I have. So this one was the first one I did. I think that's right. This is the second one. I think it should be opposite, and it's not. Alright, hold on. I think I've screwed this up. I think it must have to be like that, yeah. Or not. Hold on. When Meatloaf died, I went home from work and listened to Bat 2 right the way through. James, you're a legend. You know what, I've got Bat 2 in my car right now, I shit you not. I hadn't listened to Bat Out of Hell 2 for probably 10 years or something. And I was I got a new phone maybe like 6 months ago, and I guess because I also had a new computer, and I don't know if you guys, I'm sure some of you guys remember that my hard drive failed on my computer, so like my iTunes had nothing in it. So I had to go and find like a bunch of old CDs to try and get something in my car, and because I had nothing, one of the old CDs that I found was Bat Out of Hell 2. Right, hold on. I think I did this wrong. Hold on. I've got to think about this. Yeah, so it goes this way. Bat Out of Hell 2. What's the first song? It's the first song Bat Out of Hell. And then it was I Do Anything for Love, and then it's something like Life is a Lemon and I Want My Money Back. Yeah. But no, War Pigs is good. I listened to that this morning. Generals gathered in their masses. I can't remember. I sang something to my daughter this morning. She screamed and ran away from me, so it must have been reasonably metal. All right, 75, 70. Here, I think this is what I'm doing wrong. I'm just cutting out lots of bits. Like I'm doing 2 sections at once. You guys can't quite see the instructions because they're... So I'm trying to do both arms simultaneously. So I'm probably cutting out too many bits off the sprue, but hey, why not? Ride the Lightning. I like Ride the Lightning. It's a great album, isn't it? I actually like... Tom, thanks for hanging out. Nice to see you. I liked Escape. Remember Escape from Ride the Lightning? It's like the one song they literally never play live. When I was a kid, I really liked Escape. And fun fact, I've seen Metallica 4 times? Let me think. Saw them at Download. Saw them at Glasgow for Death Magnetic. Saw them for Hardwire to Self-Destruct. Saw them for their new album. Did they do 72 seasons? So I think I've seen Metallica 4 times. And one of the times they played Trapped Under Ice. Have I listened to Mastodon? No, not really, sorry. I used to listen to a lot of Sirius XM channel... I can't remember the channel. Was it like channel 80, like Octane? I used to really like Octane. That was a great channel on Sirius XM. I saw Metallica open for Rolling Stones. That was a banger. It was so good. You know what? One time I saw Metallica, their support was Machine Head. And I was like, this is the greatest support I've ever seen. Ever, right? Like, normally when you... oh, someone listens to Octane. Yeah, I love Octane. I used to listen to the Jason Ellis show as well, actually. That was good. Yeah, it was like right after, I forget the name of the album. It might just be called like Black or something, or maybe it was like self-titled. You know the Machine Head album that's got like Halo on it and Aesthetics from Hate? Dun 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 dun. So I saw Metallica and Machine Head were the opening band, and it was right around the time they released that album. And it was like the best opening act I've ever seen in... I honestly think it'll never be topped in terms of like, you normally go to opening bands or opening acts, whatever you want to call them, and they're like, yeah, I could take it or leave it. Or just, you know, like, this is just a warm-up to get a couple of beers before the main band comes on. But when I saw Metallica and they had Machine Head supporting, that was totally dope, because Machine Head were all... That album from Machine Head was super awesome, right? Anyway, we're way off. When I seen them, it was Avenged Sevenfold and Volbeat. Oh yeah, Volbeat. Counting all the... Do. I guess I'm not alone. But yeah, I'm trying to introduce my kids to some sort of decent music. But yeah, I do think we miss out on albums these days. streaming services are great for finding stuff. But I guess you don't ever find or listen to albums. Or at least it feels like that's what I do. I feel like I find something and I feel like the album... the excitement of a new album is lost a bit. I actually found some like really old photographs today. Really old concert tickets today, actually. I found a ticket for Rage Against the Machine from like 2010. It's weird, like, I don't know why I've kept ticket stubs for gigs I went to 15 years ago, but it's great for discovering, but you never own anything. And I think it's kind of hard to discover on the streaming services, honestly, James, because do you not just... like, I have playlists on Spotify, so like, if I'm looking for music, I always end up like just defaulting back to one of my playlists of music that I like, and then I very rarely discover new music. Whereas like, I guess, like back in the day when I used to listen to a lot of Octane, someone said it already, that they discovered like, you know, you discover new bands when you listen to the radio. I never listen to the radio anymore, I guess. Yeah, maybe that's my problem, but seeing the radio in UK sucks, man. That's why I had a subscription to Sirius, because the radio in America is like a million times better than the radio in the UK. The UK, they just play pop. Like, I mean, occasionally they might like have like a song that's somewhat decent on, but for the most time they just play pop music on the radio. It's I feel like it's a bit of dog shit. Kind of like all the sub-services tailored to, yeah. That's the thing. They know exactly what you want. Within reason, right? Because, like, here's the... like, I don't know if you guys have noticed this. Some of you probably have. Amazon have started putting ads in Amazon Prime, right? So like while you're on Amazon Prime now, you can't watch shows on Amazon Prime now, I guess, without getting ads. Which is fine. I mean, you know, they're one of the biggest streaming things in the world. They're entitled to put ads on. But what's weird is like they had a new movie out like last week. It was like a World War II movie. I think it was called something like The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Conduct. And it was like this World War II movie about the British trying to blow up like some Nazi submarine. It was like where they were fueling all their U-boats up or whatnot. It's got Henry Cavill as like the main star in it, right? So me and my wife watched this movie last Friday night. And it was fine. I mean, not the greatest movie. It reminded me a bit of like Inglourious Bastards, if you've ever seen that. And it was good. It was good enough, right? I enjoyed it, and we watched the movie, and then like we were watching something else on Amazon Prime, right? Like tonight, or it might have been yesterday, we were watching something else on Amazon Prime, and then it was like halfway through our show on Amazon Prime, it just like broke out and gave us an advert for the movie that we'd watched on Amazon Prime like last Friday night. And I said to my wife, I was like, it's funny that they know exactly what you do, like they know everything about you, and so they must know we watched this movie last week, but they just put an advert in the middle of our show for the movie we watched last week. I was like, I guess Amazon aren't quite there yet. They've added the adverts to their services, they haven't quite realised how to do it yet. Metal is out of fashion, Ellie. There's no good radio, really. I was going to say, radio stations must have really struggled in modern day, right? I hate how many adverts there are on regular radio stations, and they're always about buying new cars, right? It feels like they always want to sell you a car on the radio. You know, or... one thing that they always try and sell you in Scotland as well is better windows, because Scotland's super cold, so they're always trying to sell you double glazing. I don't know if you even have double glazing. I guess maybe in some of the colder states in America you might have double glazing, but like I guess if you live in Florida or something, you don't have double glazing. Like you wouldn't ever need double glazing, right? Brasky says, other than the Black Rage ability all Death Company have, what do you think the new Death Company Dread's second ability will be? I hope it's the same one as the Firstborn. I heard it's going to be some sort of surge move, Brasky. I have no idea what that means, but if I had to guess, I am imagining that means that, you know how like the World Eaters had that ability, like every time they get shot at, they're allowed to move d6 closer to the enemy or something like that? If it's not that, I feel like I haven't seen, or I don't know what a surge move is. But something like that to me makes sense, right? Because like the Death Company Dreadnought is intensely angry and he wants to get in your face. And an ability where he could move closer and get in your face, I feel like would make sense, right? I mean, it 100% might not happen, but that's what I've heard is it's some sort of surge move ability. But I can't remember where I heard that. Might have been Valrak. I don't think it was though. Maybe it was our like we have a members only Discord. Well, I mean we have a Discord anyway, right? Like 1600 members of 1600 Blood Angels players are in the Discord. So there's a lot of information getting thrown around in Discord with the new releases, and I can't remember who said it or under what context, but somebody said that they think the new Death Company Dreadnought has a surge move. What's all the talk of ninjas versus pirates? Sorry, I'm missing. We've started a whole debate here in chat about ninjas versus pirates. Double glazing to keep the heat out. Is that actually a thing, JT Money? I don't know. Would double glazing? I suppose it probably would help to insulate you inside. To be fair, Dreadnought moonwalking towards you after a fair... It could actually be a terror, because that ability the World Eaters have where they used to be able to get just 6 inches, up to d6 every time they're shot at, is pretty cool. It might... Do you know what? That might be the perfect ability for Death Company Dreadnoughts. You just have 3 of them. 3 Death Company Dreadnoughts that you just plan on running towards the enemy. If they start shooting them, then they just get closer. Jim says, supposedly when it takes damage it can get d6 closer to the enemy that wounded it. There we go. Pirates cooler than ninjas? What have I missed? And why are we on pirates versus ninjas? Like, where did that even come from? Who started the pirates versus ninjas? Alright, $1 million question for someone that stuck these plate things on the end of the Brutalis arms. You just stick them on it, like, it doesn't look like they match up or line up with anything. You just stick them on wherever the hell you want. Who's actually done a Brutalis in chat? Like, who's actually built a full Brutalis? We lost the Magna Grapple? Yeah, I suppose, because there's no Magna Grapple in the model, so that's a little bit disappointing for potential deep strike charges, isn't it? Alright, we're gonna have to settle this. We're gonna have to settle pirates versus ninjas in chat. We'll have to do a poll or something. Mine had notches, but I built 2. Well, mine doesn't have any notches. Or I think I'm just... I don't know. I always feel like when I'm on stream making something I've never made before, I always feel like a complete idiot. I feel like obvious things... I miss obvious things. Like, it just says, stick it on. It doesn't... There's one section that's got a bigger hole. I don't have a clue. Like, it just rotates right round on this. Like, at what point do you stick it? Like, which... Does something attach to this, or... Does it not really matter? Maybe it doesn't really matter. Do you think Death Company will... Brutalis will get Frenzy? You mean the rule where he gets to fight multiple times? No, it sounds like he's got a different rule. It's supposed to be rotational. But you do glue it. It doesn't say not to glue it. So you just stick it on any random way you like. Should have 3 on one side and then the thumb that goes across. Okay. Thanks, Phil. I think I'm with you. I take it you guys used the claws for the Death Company Dreadnought, right? I think I'm going to stick it like that and hopefully it'll be fine. Well, do you think Librarian Dreadnought will survive the new Codex? No, unfortunately I don't. I think we're probably going to lose... I think we're probably going to lose the Librarian and the Furioso. Do you think the Flesh Tearers will get their own detachment? Ooh, it's a tough question. Yeah, that's a real tough question. I think they won't. I think the Flesh Tearers will just get rolled into Blood Angels. I think if Seth comes back, they'll maybe just keep that requirement where you can't be with any of the other characters, but I think based on what we know, I think it's unlikely they will give the Flesh Tearers their own detachment. And even if they did give them one, I doubt they'll call it Flesh Tearers. Because people will be annoyed if they only get 2 detachments to play in Blood Angels, right? I think the Furioso and the Librarian are drawn. It's possible. I think we might keep the Baal Predator. Yeah, I think that's possible, but I think the... I think the other 2 Dreadnoughts will be gone, yeah. I mean, it's not the news we wanted to hear, but I think it's probably the reality. Because people have said that they specifically mentioned there's going to be 18 data sheets, right? And the Dark Angels box, or the Dark Angels Codex, which they mentioned was going to be 20 data sheets, I believe. 4 of them came from Combat Patrol. So I imagine if we've got 4 Combat Patrol data sheets inside our Codex, which would make sense, there's probably going to be new Blood Angels Combat Patrol. To me that says we're probably going to have 14 data sheets. And I think we've got 19 at the moment, so 5 things need to go. One of the things that's going is like Death Company Marines with jump packs, so they'll be gone. Or Death Company Marines on foot. So I think we're going to lose... There's basically going to be 2 squads of Death Company now, so down from 3. So you're going to lose a squad of Death Company. I think you're going to lose 2 Dreadnoughts. I think you're going to lose Tycho. Or I think Tycho the Lost, because there'll be nothing that you can attach to anymore. So I think Tycho the Lost for sure. And then I don't know what the last one... What am I building? The Brutalis Dreadnought. We did a prediction of the 18 data sheets, Stephen, over on the Grot's channel, but I think it's all changed because we didn't realise at the time that 4 of the data sheets are likely to be Combat Patrol data sheets. I mean, prediction videos are all... I was gonna say, they're not always that useful, man. I think probably I will just make a video on the data sheets when they come out, right? We have to have Blood Angels, unique units to remain Blood Angels. How can they kill a Librarian Dreadnought? I mean, I think they're just simplifying all the ranges so they can balance them better. I mean, they basically did that with Space Marines, right? They took away a bunch of like land speeders and attack bikes, which is interesting actually, because if you think about like how many people were using attack bikes and land speeders versus how many people use thunder strikes. Am I painting it red or black? Well, I think I'm going to make a very... I already have 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts painted red, and I've got one that I painted black. I painted that Redemptor Dreadnought black ages ago. Like, before COVID ages ago. So I already did like a Redemptor chassis in black. So I haven't really decided what colour I'm going to paint this guy. But yeah, if we've got to do 2, I probably won't do them both the same. Hell, I might even make one gold, because sometimes if I've already done like a bunch of red Redemptors and a red Ballistas, and it's the same chassis again, I don't have any golden Dreadnoughts. Maybe I'll make a gold one, who knows. ZZ Slipaway says she's really glad he got his hands on the old kits before they go away. Yeah, a lot of people are. I'm probably going to be doing a collab with a third party for Blood Angels bits, because I want more Blood Angels bits. I think my Fiststone is going to take place of Librarian Dreadnought. I mean, that would make sense. I'm not sure Mephisto's transfixing gaze is that useful. I feel like nobody's really taking him for transfixing gaze. Is there a 0% chance of a Furioso Brutalis? Yeah, I think so. Probably just because... I mean, it's not 0%, right? I don't have any idea, but I would say it's a low chance because they are trying to cut down the number of data sheets. Space Marines already have a crap load of data sheets. They're taking us down from 19 to 14 likely, so they're cutting 25% of our data sheets. So they're not looking to add more. Fistum's no longer a leader, yeah, he's lone operative now, which could be better for him. I think it's really going to depend on if they change Mephisto's psychic powers. Like, if they gave him like a really useful psychic power, he could actually be a really top tier character. But I think it's all going to come down to if they gave him a useful psychic power or if they just left him as he is. 0 Thunder Strikes. The core of my Raven Wing was 6 Typhoons with heavy bolters. Yeah, I bought a Thunder Strike, which I used a tiny little bit, but unfortunately it fell out of favour in my list very quickly, and I've just seen no reason to bring it back. And I think since it fell out of favour, they might have even put the points cost up on it. War Thunder's trolling everybody that doesn't like the Revel glue. Very funny, War Thunder. Thank you so much for the 5. It's appreciated. If you do pair up with a third party person, please, 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 can you get them to do molded Death Company shoulder pads? I've already seen the Death Company shoulder pads, Tezza. I'm trying to think where I shared. I think I shared them in the members only Discord yesterday. Let me see if I can just pull that up real quick. Discord. Let me see. Yeah, I'll show you these real quick.
War Thunder donated $5 via Super Chat. Love the Revel Glue M8.
Yeah, so I think I think this is Shoulder Pads 2 is the name of the file. So there might be another sprue of shoulder pads, but I for one friggin' hate painting red X's by freehand. I've done it a few times. I did it on my Outriders and I feel like I did a pretty good job with the Outriders. But it's tough, man. So we could have 5 data sheets for Combat Patrol, says Serenade. Yeah, so we're losing a good amount of stuff, I guess, is the way to look at it, Serenade. Or for anyone that's curious, I guess we are losing a good amount of stuff. I mean, what else is there to say, really, than we're losing stuff? Right, I gotta work out which way I want these to. I think it's supposed to be like that, yeah. Or, sorry, someone else subscribed there. I thought it was War Thunder's super chat, but then I think it already said that. So, okay. So I think that would be that arm. And then this arm would go something like that. And then these 2 bits. Hello Smithy, good evening. I've done a pencil outline line first on the paper tape to make my X's. Yeah, I tried to do it a bit with a stencil. You know, like I created I created an X in like a Photoshop package on my computer, printed it out, and tried to make a stencil and then paint inside the stencil. But I think it's still it's hard. It's much easier to have like an actual molded shoulder pad you can just copy. I feel like I prefer that. So I think what happens with these is these little bits on the side will be where the shoulder pad armor plate sits, right? Yeah. So one needs to go down like that, and one needs to go down like that. So I think that's fine. And because they swivel. Oh, this one's breaking. Need to put a bit more glue in there. Shit. You need to put masking tape below the paper when you cut it out. What do you mean by below the paper? That sound was me subscribing for the 6th time in Twitch. Smithy, thank you so... Apparently my voice has just decided to stop working. Thank you so much for subscribing for the 6th time. I kind of like the ragged red X's as rushed markings. Yeah, I suppose, but the perfectionists in us don't like that, I guess. Like, we like it to look, Alright, there's one arm. Cool. And have I done this right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Other arm. Blood Angels were known to be very good with their art. Yeah, apparently, Jack, but not me. Not me freehanding painting. I like being able to just paint over the X's on the shoulder pads, honestly. I felt like that made it very nice and easy for me. Alright, so we got arms, we got legs, we got body. Next up, I guess, is fingers. I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do claws for these guys for sure. Talons, sorry, talons, not claws. Yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I was gonna say, because we don't know the new rules, you wouldn't know if talons are better than claws. Will the Librarian Dreadnought and Furioso get legends? They'll get, they'll get legends. They'll get legends for sure. But I mean, a lot of places don't let you run legends. I only put his list into the B tier, Jupu, because he's running like 20 Sangre Guard. And I don't know if you've run Sangre Guard in 10th edition, but they're horrific. This is the Brutalis Dreadnought. This is from the Augustus box. This one. Strike Force Augustus. I don't know if you run Sangre Guard in this edition. They die like they're not... For how expensive they are, like 31 points a model, they die so friggin' fast. So I don't know. Like, I'll tell you right now, I won a GT with 10 Sangre Guard in the list. But the only way I see you can play the Sangre Guard is you have to have them in reserve, you have to rapid ingress them, they will come in and they will kill one unit, and then they will all die. Literally every single game after the turn after they come in, they will all die. And they're horrifically expensive for them to all die. So I don't think a list with more than 10 of them is viable. And I rated the list based on that. So I get that you can be a good player. But I just think they die to anything and everything. And for the 31 points per model, it's insanity, right? Like, if you look at heavy intercessors, they're 20 points per model. And they have, like, what, one more toughness and one more wound? Yeah, Sangre Guard die so friggin' fast. Anyone gets a beetle line of sight on them, they'll just die. And then here's the thing, if you're fighting something like orcs, the orcs, like, I fought a top table game against orcs, and they'll just fight on death every single time you fight the orcs in melee. They fight on death. And if they're fighting on death, you're just going to be losing Sangre Guard like they're dead. So I think in his list, though, he didn't have any characters attached to them, right? So it was just 2 5-man squads of Sangre Guard. I don't think anyone runs that. But then, maybe we're all missing something and I'm not seeing it. But I'll tell you, having run Sangre Guard a lot, because I obviously ran them enough to win a GT and figure out how to play them, I just feel like they have zero survivability against any competent player. So, and I felt like 10 was really difficult to run. Because, like, after the event, I went home, as you do after an event, and I was thinking a bit about the event, because, I mean, most players after they've played 40k for a bit will go home and think about their list and is there anything you could improve, that sort of thing. And honestly, like, after the event, all I could think is, how am I justifying to myself running 10 Sangre Guard and Dante over running the 10-man Lamartez Death Company? Because Lamartez Death Company just hit harder. They've got baked, what is it? Baked in rerolls to hit, and everybody's got a power fist. And Lamarta's is the -1 damage. So I just came home from the GT that I won, and all I could think of is, how am I justifying Dante and the 10 Sanguinary Guard over Lamarta's and 10 Death Company? And Lamarta's and 10 Death Company are 30 points cheaper as well. So they're like, not quite 10% cheaper, like 8% cheaper. So 8% cheaper, they're -1 damage, they've got the Feel No Pain, and they get a lot more strength 10 attacks, and they reroll all their hits. And in my brain, I was like, I don't think I can justify that Dante and the Sanguinary Guard are better than Lamarta's and the 10. And the only reason I was using Dante and the 10 is because I wanted to use them. Because I bought Primaris Dante and I wanted to use them. And I don't like... well, I only play one army, right? So like if I just play the meta list if I just play the meta list all the time, then I would just play the same list every week, week in, week out, week in, week out, and I would get no variance, and I actually think I would be kind of boring. So that's why I ran Dante and 10 Sanguinary Guard, because it was something different and nobody was trying it. But having come out having come out of a GT after running it, like I really struggled. Like there was nothing in my brain that I could justify that Dante and the Sanguinary Guard are better, right? Like I just couldn't justify it. I think it's playable, and I think you could probably win a GT with 10 Sanguinary Guard, but I don't think you can run 20 of them. You're just better running Death Company, man. They're just a better unit. They do the same thing but better, and they're cheaper, right? So, I mean, I guess if you're going to put 20 Sanguinary Guard in your list, I don't think you've got a tier list. And I'm probably actually the most qualified person to talk about that, because I don't think anyone else, as far as I'm aware, I don't think anyone else, maybe somebody has, but I think the amount of people that have actually won a 10th edition GT with 10 Sanguinary Guard in their list is probably fucking pretty small. Because most people have realised the same thing, that like Lamarta's plus the Death Company are just cheaper, do the same thing, and are better, right? So I also mentioned in my in the comment of that video that it's all my opinion. So if you don't like my opinion, you don't have to take my opinion. But I'm just telling you, like, having played them extensively, how I feel about them, and why I wouldn't like, I was basically on the fence, like, if I want my list to be stronger, I probably should drop these 10 Sanguinary Guard. So putting 20 in the list just didn't really feel like it's the right list for me, I guess. So that'll be why I gave it a B out of the ratings. The list is basically Infernal Pistol skew. There's already 3 units of jump pack. Well, yeah, but I mean, I guess because it's a teams event, it's maybe fine, but I mean, if you were playing Death Guard, you might have some real problems with that, right? Because Fight First Plague Marines will be real problematic for you. Especially with all their anti-infantry 2-up flamers and the Biologist Putrefier. Sanguinary Guard will die super quick to that, man. Like, crazy quick. Like, you could lose, like, you'd probably lose a 5-man squad of Sanguinary Guard. You'd lose that on the charge if they can see you. Let alone if they can overwatch you before then. Death Company will lose Power Fist for sure. Yeah, I think Death Company will be like 1 per 5, same as all the other Primaris model smithy. I bought some Death Company Marines, but also plan to buy the new box coming out. Would that be a bad idea to have 25 Death Company, says Harry. The thing is, you don't even need to run all of them as Death Company, Harry, right? Like, a lot of people run Jump Assault Intercessors, and those are a strong unit. A lot of people run regular Assault Intercessors, and they're a strong unit. So if you've already got, like, I already got 30 Jump Pack Death Company, I probably already got, like, 10 Assault Intercessors with Jump Packs, and 20 Assault Intercessors without Jump Packs. I'm still going to buy the new box. DZ Slip Away says my Sanguinary always gets slapped away every time without doing anything. Yeah, I actually find, like, I don't run the Sanguinary on my list. I know a lot of top people play it as well, but I actually find him quite hard to play. I feel like he only has enough attacks to be useful into certain enemies as well, right? So against some enemies, he's super clutch, he's super strong, but then against some he can also feel kind of underwhelming, so no, I get you. You're very welcome, Harry. I always try my best to answer questions, but yeah, Jump Marines for Blood Angels are like they're like the core of the chapter. You're always going to need Jump Marines. You're probably never going to have too many of them. You might even if you think you've got plenty, then leave 10 on the sprue. And you'll probably come back at some point a year down the line and think I could use some more with a different weapon option or some more with this, that, and whatnot. Like, I think I left like 10 Assault Intercessors on the sprue for like a year or something. I only just recently came back to them on the stream like 2 weeks ago or something. Phil's getting the new box for Astorath Lamarta is the third Brutalis in the Codex. The rest of the box is going to be parts. Yeah, and here's the other thing. You know that if you really feel like you don't need more Jump Marines, put them on eBay, man, and you'll make back half the cost of the box. Maybe even more. Right? Because people are always going to need Jump Marines on eBay. Characters look nice on paper, but the cost will give you almost one more squad for the same cost. Yeah, I mean, if you buy both characters on the Codex, you're probably going to be half the cost of the box anyway. So if you bought the box and sold 10 of the Assault Intercessors, you'd probably make like a good third of the cost back or something like that. Hold on a sec.
Jaegerbomb2 donated $5 via Super Chat. While I am happy that we're getting updated character units, I'm sad Death Company is getting nerfed. What buffs will Chainsword only DC have then?
Good question, Jaegerbomb. I don't know if they'll have any buffs. Right? I think they'll have the standard Black Rage ability. I think that I think they'll get balanced on points. I think Death Company might come down to like 100 points a unit, but they only have chainswords. We might get to a point where like Blood Angels are like. Here's the thing: Blood Angels armies for the entirety of 10th edition have all been I was going to say, Blood Angels armies for like the entirety of 10th edition have been Death Company based. Death Company have been the go-to for like the last year, 15, 16 months or something. Like, I think that's just going to be gone, right? So it's going to be like Advanced and Charge. I think they'll keep the reroll all hits. I think they'll keep the Feel No Pain. But I think Death Company will be more like an infantry blender than blend everything, because that's what they do at the moment, right? They blend everything, and I think they're going to remove that. One thing that the design principle of like 10th edition is that they like units to have a specific role. So I think the role will be Death Company will blend infantry. I kind of think that Sanguinary Guard will blend elites, because I don't think they're going to put the strength or anything up on Sanguinary Guard. I think they'll probably stay where they are. So Sanguinary Guard will blend elites. Death Company will blend infantry, and then maybe, because there's rumours about the Assault Terminators coming back for Blood Angels, right? So maybe the plan will be that the Assault Terminators are supposed to be our unit that blends vehicles. Because one of the big design things about 10th edition is that units have like one role. He's coming together. A ways to go yet. This guy's actually taking me friggin' ages to build. I don't ever remember the Redemptor Dreadnoughts taking this long to build, honestly. Jim says I could live with 100 points with 3 chainswords, 1 eviscerator and 1 power fist and reroll hits and charges. Yeah, I don't really expect them... I could be wrong here, but I'm not expecting them to change that Black Rage rule much at all. Maybe they'll take away the Sustain 2 that the Foot Death Company have. I do think that the rule that the Death Company Intercessors have, like the free Overwatch or the free Heroic Intervention, really isn't that good. Sounds like Horus Heresy. Yeah, but I mean that's kind of the principle of that's kind of the principle of like Primaris, isn't it? It's like, you know, look at the Gladiator Lancer, for example, right? Like, well, the Gladiator, like, when they, you know, they made a Reaper that kills infantry. They made a version that's got Meltas on it, the Valiant, that kills elites. And then they made the Lancer that kills tanks. Like, you could say the same with the Thunderstrike. I suppose, like, if you yeah, it definitely, that's definitely how they're designing 10th edition, where units have a distinct purpose or a distinct role, and they do one thing very, very well. What if the Death Company Brutalis is meant to be a vehicle blinder? Well, it might be. Crozier? Is it a problem if it is? You mean, oh right, so it's supposed to be a vehicle blinder. The Sanguinary Guard is supposed to kill elites, and the Death Company is supposed to kill infantry. I mean, maybe. All of this struggle to get back to what we had that worked perfectly before Primaris. Here's the thing, Sean. I think you might be forgetting that Blood Angels were like a 45% win rate army for the best part of, like, I was going to say, the best part of 4 years is probably an exaggeration. I don't want to exaggerate it. I think at least for like 2.5 years, Blood Angels were like a 45% win rate army. I made a video that showed those win rates somewhere. Of, like, I went back and looked at all the Meta Watch articles they did. Over, like, I think they maybe started Meta Watch in like 2020. So maybe it is almost coming up for 4 years, but maybe it was like 2021. I can't remember. But I definitely looked at like all the you remember when they used to publish the win rates on the Meta Watch on Games Workshop? For like a long time, like 3 or 4 years. I really don't want to exaggerate this, so let's say a minimum, I feel like it was at least 2. But I picked out every Meta Watch article I could, and I don't think we went above like a 45%. I think maybe we had like one season we were 48% win rate. So we did like 44, 45, 48, and then back to 45. So although you're saying it worked perfectly before, it actually didn't. Unless you were a really top level Blood Angels player. I guess the average Blood Angels player that, you know, that maybe doesn't bring those totally skewed meta lists, had very average win rates for multiple years at least. Yeah, Todd's saying it wasn't all roses before Primaris. Yeah, it wasn't as good as you were remembering it. There was lots of times, because I think, remember, we got our Codex right at the start of 9th. We were the first army to get our Codex in 9th, or if we weren't first, I think we were first. I think it was Necrons and Blood Angels that got their Codex at the start of 9th. So if we got our Codex at the very start of 9th, that would have been 4 years ago. And I don't know if you remember 9th edition, but the Codex creep in 9th edition was disgusting. Like, Sisters of Battle Codex came in like 3 months after our Codex, and Sisters of Battle were just shitting mortal wounds all over the board. Like, 80-point units, 1 CP guaranteed 4 mortal wounds. They just have like a bunch of these 80-point units. Not 4 mortal wounds, sorry, it was 6 mortal wounds. I actually think when it came out, it wasn't even capped. That was the Sisters of Battle Codex in 9th edition was when they started capping stratagems at 6 mortal wounds, because the Sisters were doing like 15 mortal wounds with like fucking bolters 3 months after 9th edition came out. So yeah, although we were good at the very, very start of 9th, I guess, which was 4 years ago, we very quickly dropped to like a mid-40s army for probably all of 9th. Maybe, like I said, there was maybe one season or 1 6-month period. Probably, I think it was the 6-month period where we got Armor of Contempt. Remember, during 9th for a whole 6 months, every Space Marine unit had Armor of Contempt. I think when that happened, we went up to like that 48% win rate I was talking about. But when that wasn't active, our win rate was like mid to low like 45, 46s. Nothing exciting. And we went through like a whole few years like that. And then it's only recently in 10th edition it's changed, right? Like, I mean, the new terrain has helped loads for Blood Angels, but up until recently, I'm actually trying to think what changed. Yeah, I guess before they gave us Sons of Sanguinius the +2 strength, like when we didn't have that +2 strength and we're just +1 strength, we're in a really bad place as well. So yeah, if you knock off the first 6 months of 9th and then the first 6 months of 10th when we didn't have that +1 strength, there's basically a 3-year period there that says Blood Angels were not good for 3 years. So I suppose you can complain that the power fists and stuff and changes all happened, but things weren't rosy before, right? There was three whole years there where we kind of sucked, and we were using weird things to be good, right? Like those Contemptors with the Volcons and stuff like that. Hey Marius, how you doing? Bad Francis says 3 or 6 Blade Guard veterans. I've done a video on this, Bad. If you take 6, you probably want the Judiciar, but 3s can totally work. They're absolutely fine. I wouldn't attach the Judiciar if you're only running 3, though. Do you think they'll do a Brutalis Librarian or Libby Dread, I guess, or is it gone? I think it's probably gone, Nick, but I don't really know. So yeah, my vision is like, I'm pretty tired, I guess. I don't know why my vision is so bad tonight, but yeah, I'm old and my eyes don't focus that well, so I'm pretty much done for the night. So I'm going to be back tomorrow for the Army List show. I'll take a couple more questions for chat, so if there's any question you have, write it right now, and then I'm probably going to head to bed. So Not So Savage Joe says, I'm still pissed they got rid of Contemptors. Yeah, but I guess those Volcon Contemptors kind of had to go. They were, while they were fun, their balance was pretty poor, wasn't it? Heard anything about new detachments? No, I've heard nothing, man. I don't get any information. I mean, I get my information from the same source as you, Jaegerbomb, which is Valrak's live streams, right? So no, unfortunately, I've not heard anything. Ran 3 Blade Guard with a Judiciar, 2 Deathwing Knights with Chaplain, Apothecary. Yeah, I really think that the Blade Guard are good in 6s with a Judiciar or 3s without, man. What do you think about the Captain with the Sanguinary Guard? Since the data slate, they can do rapid ingress and cheap heroic invention. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine. I think that the Sanguinary Guard are weaker than Death Company again, though, because they don't get reroll hits. So that's one of the reasons I actually like Dante with the Sanguinary Guard, is to get the +1 to hits, because I think it's meaningful. It's going to be quite hard to Oath of Moment somebody you're going to be heroicing into, I feel like. I mean, the main reason I wasn't taking a captain with a Sanguinary Guard is because I wanted to be able to use Oath of Moment elsewhere. I'm wondering if it's worth getting an Impulsor. Impulsors are really good for Blood Angels right now. I can't see Impulsors getting worse. People will probably still use Impulsors. There's lots of options, like you said. You can put Blade Guard in them, you can put Company Heroes in them, you can put Assault Intercessors in them. I think Impulsors are totally fine, and they're somewhat useful as well for units that can perform actions. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. Back tomorrow 8 o'clock to do some community submitted army lists. And then Thursday night, like I said, we're going to rematch the final of the GT. So Garen's coming through from Aberdeen. So we're gonna get the Bully Boys on Thursday night to do a rematch of our final game. It was 81 points each in the GT, so I'm expecting it to be pretty close. Basically, he's going to fight on death with every single unit of orcs, and it's going to make it super difficult for me to trade. And I am going to... In the GT, I fought on death a couple of times with the Death Company as well, so that should be fun. I'm a Black Templars player, and I think the Blood Angels community was done dirty. Well, we need to see the rest of the releases, Marcus. We've only seen, I assume, half the releases. So I guess we'll see the rest of the releases as soon as Valrak spoilers them, so Games Workshop have to release them. But I'll see you guys tomorrow night for the Army List show. Have a great evening. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the super chats, the gifted subs, all that good stuff. I do really appreciate it. Good night. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.